Okay. Is
Yeah.
it okay if I record?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, since classes start in about 25 minutes or so, um, uh, yeah, we can start up and we'll have people filtering in. Um,
Okay.
yeah, if you want to like start right in the middle over here.
She
There she
is.
is.
I think so. Hello.
Hi.
That's Nicole. She's been for the last 2 years, she's been our student representative on our school board
Okay.
for representing all the
Wow.
students. And we have
Love.
about 300 students here. So,
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Cool. Should we go ahead and start then?
yeah, yeah. And I could not be more thrilled that you had some time for us. And so I have told them about uh, just a summary of the type of work that you do. Um,
Okay.
and that the girls who you work with and help, just changing their lives, giving their humanity back. Um, so for us here in U.S. suburbia,
Yeah.
many of the issues that you face and you live with 24/7 for years now
Yeah.
um, is a very foreign concept.
Yeah.
Um, so any kind of description that you'd like to give as to what the girls have been through, what you have been through, helping them, um, just kind of that story that's so powerful. We do have a number of students here who would like to help, and
Yeah.
over the coming weeks and months. So,
Okay. Cool. I'm going to just introduce myself real quick, then do the little activity, having them close their eyes for a couple minutes, and then share a couple stories of the girls, and we'll then do questions if that's a good arrangement.
sounds good. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Can everyone hear? Okay.
Hey, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, cool. My name is Robin, and I am an Indian American. Like I grew up in the U.S. and also in suburbia, but suburbia outside of Seattle, not outside Chicago. My connection to Chicago is that I went to IIT, which is in the south side of Chicago, and had to do a lot of different programs and Evanston and stuff as well. So I think it's hard to live in Chicago and not have some type of connection to Evanston. And then I met Mark through one of through a teacher program that we were involved with a couple years ago, and I've just kept in touch. So it's been really lovely. I'm really sick, so please forgive me, my voice and everything. I think we only have about 25 minutes. Normally I share for about 30 to 40. So I'll try to keep it condensed and we'll just spend a few minutes doing questions. Is that cool with everyone? Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
cool. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to start by closing your eyes for a minute. I know it's Monday morning. Please don't fall asleep. Take a couple deep breaths. And now for a minute, I want you to imagine that you are a 13-year-old girl in a small Indian village. Your father is a farmer who is $5,000 in debt and often talks about committing suicide. Farmer suicides are a thing in India. Your mother has TB, so she is bedridden. It is your job to take care of your three younger siblings, so you've never been to school. When the first marriage offer comes along at 13, your family agrees, saying you'll be one less mouth to feed. You're married off to a 35-year-old man who is uneducated, unemployed, alcoholic, and abusive. His first wife just passed away due to domestic violence issues. By age 16, you have two children and you start doing domestic work, washing dishes and clothes in other people's homes in order to feed them. One day, your husband's friend offers you a job in the city. He says it's the same work, washing dishes and clothes in other people's homes, but you'll earn a lot of money. You'll take care of your kids, you'll send money home, and you'll all live happily ever after. He takes you to the city where he sells you to a brothel. From then on, you're forced to sleep with 5 to 10 men a day while your children sleep under the bed below you. Please open your eyes. Take a couple more deep breaths. Come back to the classroom, back to Chicago. Take a minute to be really grateful for being where you are. Because, of course, this is not an imaginary activity. It's the life story of many, many people, not just in India, but around the world. And how old are all of you?
18.
I think they're all
18, okay.
18 now. Yeah.
All seniors.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so, and this is just a story that happens really, really commonly to children who are much, much younger than you. Like, I've heard stories, I've met girls and women who are 9 years old, 10 years old, who have been trafficked, things like that, and forced into sex work at a very young age. I'm going to run through a couple of the stories of the girls who I've worked with for the past decade or so, just so you get an idea of where they are. Because when we think about these girls and the conditions that you're growing up in, you know, there's a phrase in India where people say like a whore's daughter can only be a whore. So even when they go to schools, this is what they're told, and they're kind of discouraged from trying to pursue a better life or to even get out of sex work. And this is why almost 90% of girls who are born into the brothels or their mothers are sex workers also end up in sex work. That's changing in this generation, but it's not something that it was mostly common for the time that I started doing this work. So I'm going to share screen real quick. I hope that is simple because I'm not that talented. Is that working?
It is, yes.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So it's just a few photos of the girls. I hope that you'll be able to see well. And again, just to remind you, the story that we just kind of walked ourselves through, this is where every single one of these girls have grown up. So I think that, you know, like it's just really amazing to be able to like hear their stories about if I had planned better, I should have gotten a couple of them on the call. I'll check if maybe, but anyway, it's okay. Okay, so this is Shweta. She actually, at 18, became the first girl from an Indian red light area to study abroad. She won a scholarship to Bard College in New York. At 19, she became a top 25 under 25 young women to watch by Newsweek. At 21, she received a scholarship to sail on semester at sea. And then she also received an award from the United Nations for her social justice work. She ended up studying Buddhist philosophy and neuroscience for 4 years in Italy. And crazily enough, after that, she decided that she wanted to dedicate the rest of her life to coming back to Kranti, teaching a whole new generation of kids. So later this month or early next month, we're taking in 14 new girls at Kranti who are going to be ages 12 to 16. And she's going to be the full-time teacher for them. She's 29 years old now. These are the Sheikh sisters. So Amreen on the left, she's deaf and mute, and she's actually studying at Gallaudet University in DC, which I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's the only deaf university in the world. She had never been to school until she was 15, came to Kranti. We put her in a deaf school for the first time, but of course she was already 15, really hard to kind of catch up. But luckily we got her into a program in the US, and she ended up kind of going through the program for several years and is now at Gallaudet. The one in the middle is Danish. She studies at North Park University in Chicago, and she's in her last year of her master's for a degree, master's in counseling and therapy. And Farah on the end is studying nursing in Los Angeles. These are Mehek and Sumaya. Both of them came to us when they were 9 or 10 years old. Sumaya is now in one of the best design schools, institutes in India on a full scholarship. She's studying interior design and graphic design. And that's Mehek on the right. She actually came to us at age 10. And because we have like a theater group and stuff, she ended up becoming really passionate about theater and is studying theater at Salve Regina University in Rhode Island. Last month, she just became the first girl from an Indian red light area to perform on Broadway. And the event that Mark came to a couple, was it weeks ago now? Last week? I don't even know what time zone
About
or
a week
what.
and a half, yeah.
Yeah. So Mehek was actually, it was her 21st birthday, which was really lovely. So she got to join us in Chicago and performed at the event where Mark was as well. This is Rani, who got a scholarship to one of the best universities, social science universities in India, and basically also wants to study social work, social change. And she just received a scholarship to study for her master's degree, like a complete room and board, stipend, everything. So she'll be studying for a master's in transnational governance in Italy next year. This is Shraddha, who was a really terrible student and hated everything except for she's really talented at art. So she didn't want to have anything to do with school, but she ended up getting a couple art residencies. We were able to get scholarships for her to Ireland, to the Netherlands. And finally, she ended up deciding that she does want to go to university for art. And just this semester, she started at the American University of Rome and is on a scholarship there. These are Sandhya and Ashwini. And they both actually went to kind of the Harvard of India, which is Ashoka in Delhi. And both of them had full scholarships, did really well in university, and are both pursuing masters now. Sandhya is at the United Nations University for Peace, which is in Costa Rica, pursuing a master's in gender and peace building. And Ashwini is pursuing a degree in photography in Paris. She actually used to complain to me that I'm like a typical Indian parent and I don't let her do what she's really passionate about and all this kind of stuff because she always wanted to study photography. And I'm like, you can't study photography. What are you talking about? But yeah, she's finally doing it. So that's really lovely. This is Ashi, whose passion in life is special needs children. So she's actually pursuing a degree in just outside Philadelphia in special needs education, but she also works with a group of works and lives full time with a group of special needs students. And she was also at the event week and a half ago in Chicago as well. This is Kavita, whose passion in life is yoga. So she studied yoga for university, and now she's doing a master's in yoga therapy. And she works full time alongside that, teaching yoga to students who are in juvenile jails across 3 different cities in India. This young woman also came to Kranti at 18. You know that whole story we just talked about where the students, the girls and boys as well, are growing up sleeping under the bed in the brothels while their mothers are doing sex work, right? And so Lata's mother was trafficked from Bangladesh at a very young age, but she just had this very big problem with like, I don't want my, child sleeping under the bed. And so she would kick Lata out on the street to go beg on the street while she did sex work. So from about 9 p.m. until 3 a.m., Lata was just out on the street for 6 hours, begging on the street, and her mom would come find her. Now, of course, this must be appalling to all of you guys, just the thought of like, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid begging on the street alone in a city like Mumbai in the middle of the night, and yet it was a safer option for her. And so when I look at the things that some of these mothers have done to keep their kids safe or to protect them from their situation and stuff is really, really mind-boggling, I think. And Lata also came to Kranti saying, I never want to study again, I hate school, you can't make me. And she spent a couple years working, traveling, doing different programs, and then finally said, yes, okay, I'm ready to pursue university as well. And she started university at 22 at Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I think one of the biggest things is like to students who are kind of, I mean, to all of you, the concept of like starting university at 22 might seem like, you know, I know it's a foreign, very, very foreign concept, but for her and for a lot of kids who come from this background, some of them come to us 12, 13, 14 and illiterate. So it's not like they have any capacity or space to have a normal education. And many of them are not in school or haven't gone to school at all. Some of them have been just in, we have girls. So Lata, for example, because her mother is from Bangladesh, she first studied 2 or 3 years in Bengali, then she changed to a different language, a local language in Mumbai, then she changed to a different language in Hindi, and then eventually she ended up studying in English. So you can't begin to imagine the education journey that most of these kids are on, and I think that's part of what's so discouraging for them. But and not to say that we're trying to force everyone to go to university. We do have plenty of girls who don't go on to university. I'll share a couple quick stories from some of them as well. Um, and I always joke that like I'm about to squeeze in what I've learned in a decade of doing this work into about 5 minutes. So it might be a good time to take notes. I'm kidding. Don't worry. I know it's Monday morning and before class at that. So, okay. I think one of the things that I really talk about, especially with young people, is what is the purpose of life? I think we don't have enough time. Usually I ask people to respond. If somebody has an answer to this or thinks you have an answer, please do go ahead and share.
Anyone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
I don't think I know the full purpose of life, but I feel like trying to be happy is something.
That's a beautiful answer. That's all we need to hear. So I also subscribe to this philosophy. The Dalai Lama says that the purpose of life is to seek and spread happiness. And we often think that the purpose of life is what we're taught from childhood, that you need to do really well in school so you can go on to a really good college, so you can get a really good job and you can have a really big house and have several cars in the garage and all of those things, right? I just want to say briefly, because people often ask me why I did this work. I grew up in a home, like I said, Seattle suburbs. My parents were from India. My father was bipolar. My mother had schizophrenia, and there was a lot of domestic violence in the house. So my earliest memories, my childhood memories, are of domestic violence. And we had the cars in the garage, and my parents were, my father was an engineer at Boeing and stuff. So from a very early age, I started to understand that, like, if all of that is supposed to make me happy, and yet we have all those things, but somehow we are not happy in this house, then what's really going on? So I often share the story of this young woman, Pinky, who is actually the person who really truly taught me this. Pinky was trafficked at the age of 9. She came to Kranti at age 14, and she really struggled for so many years with self-harm, with addictions, and with things like stealing and suicide attempts. We had to put her in mental hospital several times. Eventually, she kind of found her path, which is working with animals. And she's 25 years old now. She's been holding a job for 2 years now. We're really, really I'm more proud of this girl than I am of all the girls who are in university. Like the things that she's overcome and the things that she struggled with are just out of this world. But Pinky is literally the happiest person I have ever met in my life. She spends her entire day laughing and making everyone around her laugh. And whenever I'm having a bit of a hard day, or I feel like I'm facing a challenge that I can't get through, I just look at Pinky and I say, after everything she's been through, if she can laugh and she can be happy, there's absolutely no reason why I can't. Cool. What's your name? The student who just replied?
Mira.
Mira. Got it. I should have gotten you all to wear little name tags or something. Cool. Okay. What is the meaning of success? Does anyone want to answer that?
What's the first thing that comes to mind? Andrew?
I don't know if this is necessarily a good meaning, but I mean, just like to win,
Okay.
to be usually like financially successful, but to really have like, to win in anything you're trying to do.
Okay, lovely. Well said. And I think that ties beautifully as well to the story I wanted to share here. This young woman, basically when she was 12 years old, living with her mother, who was a sex worker, and her mother's boyfriend. So her mother passed away when she was 34 from HIV and from AIDS and TB. So because she had AIDS, her body couldn't like recover from TB no matter how much medicine she was on and stuff. So she was 34 when she passed away. Tanya was 12, and her mother's boyfriend basically said, like, you now have to be my wife. So she, by the time that she was 15, had dropped out of school, had multiple abortions, tried to kill herself a few times. At 16, she made the hardest decision of her life, which was to run away from home, leaving her 8-year-old sister behind and running to, like, she didn't know anyone in the entire city of Mumbai, and yet she ran away thinking that somehow she'll find us. Luckily, she ended up finding, Kranti, coming to us. She spent a couple of years catching up on her education, and then finally she's been working the last couple of years, and she works at an orphanage in Mumbai for girls who are street children and stuff. And this is like, she absolutely loves her job. I keep telling her to save. She has her own little apartment now in Mumbai, and she's doing quite well. I keep yelling at her to save, but she never saves money because she's always buying snacks and chocolate and ice cream for girls that she meets on the street, like street children, because that's where she spent much of her younger years. And she really just looks at these kids like, if I can be the person who provides their ice cream for today, that's success to me. And I think it's just really like, I think all of you would agree that she's a successful person, right? But in the traditional sense of things, of course, she'll never have a university degree. She'll never have that house. She'll never have those cars. But on the other hand, I think that she's one of the happiest people I know as well, because she's so ridiculously grateful for the things that she does have and that she's able to give the world. So yeah, I think being able to wake up every day and do something positive and pleasant for somebody else is also really important. And last question is,
Yeah, Robin?
yeah,
Yeah, class is going to start in just a few minutes.
okay, 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have one last story, and then I guess we can do 2 minutes of questions. And then basically, so last question being, does my life or work even matter? I think all of you will probably say yes to this, but I'll be really honest. I have days where I wake up and wonder, because I mean, the success stories are beautiful, but I've had plenty of days where I'm negotiating with traffickers, trying to buy girls before somebody else buys them. I have been beaten by the police many, many days, all of those things.
This is big thoughts, even if
So-
you're here.
They do an announcement right before.
Yeah.
I have no control over the intercom.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Should we just call, I mean,
Be sure to load up on your Big Mac, McFlurry, fish fillet, and Happy Meal.
Just me.
See Ronald McDonald
It's
share
gonna
love on National McDonald's Day. Now,
on what day?
that's behavior.
It's National McDonald's Day.
I think so.
National McDonald's Day. I've never heard of that before.
Me. Okay, cool. I guess actually maybe we should just end there. If people want to get in touch, or if we want to kind of have something more structured later, we can look at that. But yeah, if we have 1 or 2 minutes, even if any students want to ask questions, that might be a better option.
We have time for a couple questions, if anyone, anything at all. Nicole?
So you talked
Speak up though, okay.
okay. You talked a little bit about like your childhood, but I was just kind of wondering what exactly got you into this work? Like, I know there are probably like so many little steps that it took to get where you are today, but what motivated you to first take action, I guess?
Yeah. So I actually spent all of my university vacations traveling all over the world, backpacking through like the Middle East and East Africa and Central America, and realized like how much I really enjoyed kind of doing, I don't know, I mean, social work might be the word that you're most familiar with, but I look at it as service more than anything. And my day job was that I was actually in the Air Force for several years, and I got kicked. You guys are too young to know this, but luckily, which is beautiful, there used to be a law that prevented gays and lesbians from serving openly in the military. So I got kicked out of the Air Force for being lesbian. And I think my time in the military really taught me that I didn't want to wake up every day with the purpose of my life being to help better kill people. And I didn't want to sit in front of a computer every day wondering, when is the day going to get over? And when I worked with young people, when I worked with women and kids all around the world, I think that I woke up every single day so excited to do the work that I was doing. And that was a very big sign for me that this is where I belonged. I ended up volunteering for 6 months with a NGO in India that does kind of the raids in the brothels and takes teenage girls out of brothels. And that was really my big like the thing that grabbed me so much, like this is it, like this is the work that I want to do. So just want to say all of us have work that is like the work for us, and you'll feel the passion or the excitement about like, yeah, I could do this for the rest of my life.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else? One last maybe?
One last question, if anyone has one? Yeah.
What are your future steps that you're looking to go to and stuff like that?
So unfortunately, I'm really scared about this, but yeah, we're taking in 14 new girls in a couple of weeks. And I think the biggest thing for us has always been space. So we're in the process of like trying to buy a house and really struggling with like, because whenever people find out when we're living in a normal apartment and when people find out where the girls are from, we get evicted like immediately. So we've been through 8 evictions in the past 12 years. So our biggest thing right now is like trying to secure a space that's going to be able to be a permanent home for the girls, for women as well. 2 of the women who work with us are former sex workers, so they do all of the the cooking, logistics, taking care of the house, that kind of thing. So we're really looking forward to having our own permanent space and to be able to take in girls, not just from that red light area in Mumbai that we've worked with, but also from different, like from red light areas and different partner organizations all across the country. So right now, the girls who are coming are also they're from Delhi, they're from Bangalore, they're from Mumbai. It's quite a big change for us. And yeah, we're really excited to have this permanent space.
Yeah,
Cool.
your last space, I was blown away by this because you had about 24 people living and going to school in how big a space? An apartment?
1,200 square feet. Yeah.
For about 24 people full time.
Yeah. All through COVID, we had this 1,200 square foot apartment, and we always had 20 to 24 women and girls living there. So it's going to be really exciting to have a bigger space. And we've always had only 2 bathrooms in that space as well. So you can imagine 24 girls and women fighting over 2 bathrooms. It's been quite a lifetime saga for us. So really excited about having a bigger space, more bathrooms, toilets, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And then last question, so everyone here can hear it. When is the final payment due on your new place?
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't get into the details of the house and everything, but basically I'm in the US for about a month. I've been here a month, leaving in a week or so, and I'm here basically trying to fundraise about $500,000. We are buying a 5-floor house for the girls and women for Kranti's future home. And I think one of the things I always say is like, you guys are probably the youngest people that I've spoken to, but when I speak to older people, I always ask people like, just raise your hand if you're a parent, and raise your hand if you think that your child, like you would give your life in order for your child to have a secure future, to have a permanent home, to be safe, and to be free from violence, to have access to education, to have the opportunity to dream, right? And why do my kids, the girls from the red light areas, not deserve the exact same opportunities, right? So yeah, it's where this secure home and school is like the biggest goal of my life, I guess, to make sure that this is going to be a home for generations of future girls to come. And for every girl who's born in a red light area or under a bed in a brothel to know that she's wanted somewhere, right? So yeah, in June, I have to make the final payment of the home, which is about $300,000. And we're more than halfway there, actually. We're way more than halfway there, I think. And then the other 500,000, like the remainder of the 500 is basically for new construction of a dorm and like a rooftop. There's going to be like a therapy room and a yoga space and space for solar panels and waste management, things like that. So that's what the entire 500,000 is for. The payment is due in June for 300,000. So that's what I'm doing here. It's my first time back in the US in 6 years, and it's been quite an adventure. So yeah.
I did mention to him last time that you were, I think it was the last time you were here. That was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And then you were able to stop here at the high school and
Yeah,
meet
yeah, yeah.
that time. So yeah, so this is a ridiculously amazing human being. So you all realize that. We had the good fortune of meeting, of all places, in Dubai.
Yeah.
In 2016, Robin was one of the top 10 finalists for the Global Teacher Prize. So she was up for the $1 million at that point, and just continues to do this. This is her life's work. And
Yeah. I just want to say I'm totally not a special human being. I'm just as ordinary as any of you. And I grew up in a typical suburban high school, just like all of you. And I think that every single one of us, all of you sitting in that classroom, and every single one of the girls growing up in brothels in India, every single human being has a potential to do extraordinary things with their lives, whether it's for yourself or for the world or for other people, whatever it may be. And don't ever sell yourself short of what you're capable of.
and have the courage like you have to actually take action and do something to fulfill your dreams and make it happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I have all the respect in the world for you. And
Thank you.
any last questions or anything from anyone? Or? Thank you so much for your time. I hope you feel better soon.
Thank all of you for showing up on a Monday morning
Keep your
before
rest
class.
up.
Yeah. Take care. Sounds good. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, all of you.
You too. We'll be in touch, Robin. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.